The fall of the Roman Empire is one of the most studied and debated events in world history. It represents the end of one of the most powerful and influential civilizations in human history, and its decline had profound consequences for Europe and the Mediterranean world. The Roman Empire, at its height, was a sprawling entity that controlled much of Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, but by the 5th century CE, it had fractured and collapsed. The causes of its fall are complex, multifaceted, and have been the subject of extensive analysis for centuries. Let's explore the key elements of this monumental event. At its peak in the 2nd century CE, the Roman Empire controlled vast territories stretching from Britain in the west to Mesopotamia in the east, and from the Rhine and Danube rivers in the north to Egypt and North Africa in the south. It was an empire of unprecedented military power, administrative efficiency, and cultural influence. The empire was ruled by a series of emperors, with the government operating under a mix of autocratic and republican elements. However, by the 3rd century CE, the empire began to face significant challenges. Political instability, economic problems, military overextension, and external threats began to erode the foundations of Roman power. The crisis of the 3rd century was a period of extreme instability for the Roman Empire. During this time, the empire was divided into a number of rival regions, each with their own military leaders and emperors, known as the Gallic Empire and the Palmyrene Empire. There were nearly 30 emperors within 50 years, many of whom were overthrown or assassinated. The empire was plagued by invasions from outside forces, including the Germanic tribes and the Persians, and internal rebellions. The economy suffered from hyperinflation, debasement of currency, and agricultural decline. Despite these challenges, Emperor Diocletian managed to stabilize the empire by introducing reforms, including the establishment of a more centralized bureaucracy and the division of the empire into the Eastern and Western Roman empires. This division was formalized by Diocletian's division of power between two emperors, one ruling the East and the other ruling the West. Constantine I, one of the most influential Roman emperors, emerged from the chaos of the 3rd century and became the sole ruler of the empire in 324 CE. He is known for several key reforms. He moved the capital of the Roman Empire to Byzantium, renaming it Constantinople, which marked the beginning of the Byzantine Empire in the East. This shift in power helped to ensure the survival of the Eastern Roman Empire long after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Constantine also legalized Christianity with the Edict of Milan in 313 CE, ending the persecution of Christians and making Christianity the dominant religion of the empire. However, despite these efforts, the empire was still too large and difficult to govern effectively. By the 4th and 5th centuries CE, the Western Roman Empire was increasingly beset by internal and external pressures that led to its eventual collapse. The Western Roman Empire experienced frequent changes in leadership, with many emperors being overthrown or assassinated. Weak or ineffective leaders failed to maintain order, and the empire's central authority weakened significantly. The division of the empire into East and West created two distinct political entities, but the Western Empire was often left in a precarious position, dependent on the wealth and resources of the Eastern Empire, which was more secure and prosperous. The emperorship became a target for military commanders, and many of the emperors were chosen based on their military strength rather than any political or administrative ability. The Roman economy faced hyperinflation, heavy taxation, and the collapse of trade networks. The empire's vast size made it difficult to manage economically, and the wealth that had once flowed into Rome from its provinces began to dwindle. The empire also faced declining agricultural output, partly due to frequent invasions and the depletion of resources. The Roman currency was debased, which led to inflation and a loss of confidence in the monetary system. The Roman military, once the empire's greatest strength, began to decline in effectiveness. Recruitment became more difficult, and the Roman legions increasingly relied on mercenaries from foreign tribes, many of whom had little loyalty to the empire.